So, yeah, new stream. Good morning, everybody. Or evening, or night. No, night. People don't say that in English, right? Whatever. So, there's this new dick riding uh, dropped by fucking Joe the Monkey Rogan. Like, yeah, Trump is a genuinely despicable fucking bug bug-like person at this point. Yeah, it's just fucking disgusting. And the fact that Ameritards are still like considering voting for this fucking retard tells a lot. Tells a lot. But whatever. The domino theory, Yuri Bezmenov, that guy had some good points. Academia was kind of stupid in that regards. I can't fucking click on that shit. Why? Why can't I do it in this area? What do you mean? The fuck does that even mean? This is a bug, right? This is just some stupid fucking bug. God, I hate this game sometimes. So recently I was watching that illegal video. I should probably watch it again, but I can't do it in this area. Okay, fine, I'll get out. For whatever reason, you can't teleport in Kargar. This is just fucking stupid. Like, whatever. I mean, it's just pointless to complain about this at this point. I guess the build guy was kind of wrong in some aspects. I would say most, even. I should have focused more on barrier generation and all that shit, all that stuff. I didn't need that much fucking swarm duration. Not at all. We could only have 3 active at a time anyways. It's kind of pointless. And they just disappear as soon as they kill an enemy. They explode. So it was very pointless actually. The build guy was kind of wrong. At least that's what I think, yeah. Hmm. I guess I'll go for this one. I don't know. I just feel like it. I mean, it's a Hellborn fucking synergy, but Yeah, swarm generation was a horrible idea. I mean, not swarm generation, swarm duration. Yeah. Okay, these are all bullshit. I don't like any of them. But this could be good, no? No, it's not, I guess. Şakir, ne oluyor kuşum? Ne yapıyorsun? Ha, oyun oynuyorsun. Oyna bakalım. I need to get some up the side, yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing Infernal Hordes. go for evil lords. Fuck it. I mean, I can kill them pretty fast, so. What do you mean invigorates here? I never, I'll get it. I should probably watch something. Meanwhile. Alright. I'll get some videos, so go. So did I finish that? The fuck is this? The fuck is this thing doing in my browser? The fuck was that? Wait, where's that legal video? It's gone from my fucking search history. Browser. Okay, so I've watched this video for, I think, yeah, it's just the last 3 minutes essentially. So this video is essentially over.
Will rubber stamp everything that he does. The Supreme Court will continue to say that almost everything he does is immune. And Trump will claim that any election that he loses is illegitimate. There's only one guardrail left. A vote so overwhelming he can't dispute it. So that brings me to my closing argument. Vice President Harris is the only sane choice in this election. She is a former state prosecutor and state attorney general. She believes in free and fair elections and in free speech. This election is a choice between law and criminality. As senator, Harris grilled Trump Attorney General Bill Barr about whether he ever opened an investigation because Trump asked him to attack his enemies. And this is a key point because as Attorney General, Barr eroded the rule of law himself, though he has now changed tunes. He misrepresented the Mueller report's findings and shut down an investigation to whether Trump took a $10 million bribe from Egypt to fund his 2016 campaign. And I do not believe Harris will appoint an attorney general who weaponizes the Department of Justice the way that Trump has. I believe that Harris will support Supreme Court justices who preserve the rule of law and not grant sweeping immunity to the single most criminal president. I believe she will only nominate judges who the American Bar Association says are qualified, and while this is a low bar, Trump can't clear that bar as he nominated 10 judges who the ABA rated as completely unqualified. And I believe it is highly likely that she will not destroy the rule of law. It is highly likely that she will actually uphold the rule of law. And saying that out loud, I can't believe how low the bar is, but that's where it's been set. There it is. You have the choice between someone who will promote free and fair elections, promote core freedoms, and uphold the rule of law versus a wannabe dictator. Now, I'm sure many of you already agree with Harris's policy positions, and for those people, you're already convinced of her bona fides. And to those people, all I will say is go out and vote. Elections are won by turnout. Please do whatever you can to vote this year and convince your friends to do the same and not sit on the sideline. But for those of you that disagree with some or all of Harris's policy choices, I hear you. I also don't agree with everything that she espouses. But Kamala Harris appears to be running as a fairly standard Democratic president, both small d and big D Democratic. Even if you hate Democratic policies, a normal Democratic president is better than a fascist Republican. A president who agrees with every single one of your policy positions but has this one thing where he destroys the government isn't really worth it. And even if you didn't get everything you wanted out of the last 4 years, or even if you hate Joe Biden, wasn't it nice having a normal person in the White House instead of a crazy weirdo? Wasn't it nice not waking up to deranged tweets and chaos? It's not a given, but it is frighteningly possible that if Trump is elected again, there is no coming back from this. Many of our institutions held back Trump's worst instincts, and it's possible that they might again. But he, and more importantly, his radical advisors, learned their lessons and won't make the same mistakes twice. 2020 was a trial run. This time the restraints are gone. This really is an election between a felon and a prosecutor. Donald Trump is a clown. But he's a clown with a gun. And even a clown can be dangerous, sometimes especially so. And this clown would have the nuclear codes and the DOJ. I think that there is a non-zero chance that he would use the Department of Justice and the US military against Americans who criticize him, against ordinary Americans who he calls the enemies from within. I think that because he keeps saying explicitly that. So whatever your policy preference on the left or the right, I promise you, it is more important to preserve the rule of law. So hopefully for the last time, Legal Eagle makes a presidential endorsement for this year's election. Legal Eagle wholeheartedly endorses Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Now go out and vote.
Facts. Facts. This whole video was facts, but you couldn't watch the whole video because I already watched it myself. Jacobin article. Kill yourself.
Don't watch my stuff. Go outside.
Okay, Drake video. Shit. No, hold on. Fuck me. I just fucked something up. Okay. Put this here. And temper. Trash. Oh wait, no, that's good. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Are you shitting me? I mean, this is not that good. Not sure about this one. I could have gotten more resolve stacks. I could have, at least. But this is fine enough too for now. Oh shit, not this one, this one. brighter soul. Around your neck. Okay, let's see how much resource cost reduction I have right now. That's 35%, which would be what? How much of a multiplier would that be? Yeah, it's still a pretty good multiplier, I would say. Once I get this, it's over. I could get a bit more. Hold on, berry generation with this, right? Oh, wait, I already got it. Nice. So my current berry generation would be. Oh, that's a bit low. Yeah, I feel like I should get more of the get rid of more of these. I don't know. It seems to make sense. Like, hold on. Let's go over here. Let's go take a look at this. 19 seconds. I don't need that much. Oh shit. Dance. Yeah, this touch of death swarm duration thing is actually not that good, it seems. Why swarm duration? None of these builds make sense. None of them. Like Ace, you fucked up, bro. This is not good. And he's not updating the build anyways. Doesn't give a shit. So three swarm generations then here. No, just two actually. Yeah, just two, which is interesting as well. I have three. I mean, wouldn't more barrier generation benefit me? With vicious thing, vicious shield, whatever. This one, no. Here, right. Actually, Jaguar seems to make sense for the secondary spirit, but there's something else here. And these builds lack resource cost reduction, right? Yeah, I feel like that's pretty important. Now when it comes to Federation. This thing has further berry generation, which would increase it to around 89% or so. Still quite decent. No, not 89, but yeah, 88 point. Sorry, 88.4. Yeah. Wait. Oh shoot! What am I? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I just saw there, but whatever. So berry generation, right? A lot of max life here too. Like this is perfect for pushing as a pushing build. Yeah. I'm not sure which one would be better here. Like putting these on. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. Or does it? Surprisingly, like, I don't lose any armor. Because someone else gave me the fucking armor, I think. No? Oh, right. I don't lose armor because I have armor on this thing. Tempered. But then how the fuck do I get shadow resistance? I'll play around with this shit for a bit. Or I could just craft a grand gem here instead of these two. I mean, yeah, why not? What does this change exactly? Not much. It's a bit more balanced, I would say, but doesn't really change shit. Remove this, right? Hold on, wait. Remove it. Add this skull here. And it still fixes it. Okay, good to know. Interesting. In that case, I should maybe add a resistance to all elements here. I can do a few rolls. No big deal. So far, not good. I mean, it is possible, right, that I can get it? Because this is not, doesn't seem like it. Oh, there we go. But it's a low roll. Not the lowest, but I'll try 3 more times. And it's the last try. Okay, I give up. Just one more. Okay, I'll give up in just 2 tries. Okay, I give up. Fine. Now my armor is further reduced, but as soon as I add this here, it's over. My shield is back to normal. Armor, I mean, not shield, but whatever. And with a Paragon board here, I can fix that too. With lightning resistance, 10% here. Although now I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, no. But then how do I get fire resistance, you know? I mean, I can get armor, sure. I mean, there are some worthless nodes here and there. But look at that, like that doesn't just give me armor, Ghost also gives me elemental resist. How much though? I gotta calculate that. Where was it? Here, right. 7.5, 9, 10.5. Okay, not bad, not horrible. How about armor? Should give me a decent amount of armor too. Although, to be fair, I don't need to max out my elemental resist that much. It's not important, not necessarily. Some armor nodes is good enough for me. Ow. Yeah, there's a lot of armor nodes just sitting unused. but I can't do much about them. Yeah, alright, this is fine. This is fine. Wait, did they update this one already? Yeah, it's still not updated.
Like, you can't just satirize and deconstruct. Like, you're subconsciously pushing something. So the thing that I'm pushing is radicalism.
Then you're not
This
being
just makes you
anti-Semitic. You're being
safe
meta ironic about your anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
But I am still fundamentally doing anti-Semitism. But the only reason I'm anti-Semitic is because the far left and the far right both hate them. So,
You can't have that much live content where you're playing a character. It's not possible.
like, streaming as much as you guys do, becomes who you are. When I was hanging with Vosh at the Progressive Victory thing, he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go back to streaming like 12 hours a day," and that's really f***ed up to me. That like feels deeply wrong, and like I think I'm like morally against it.
Okay,
Why'd you have me on?
I don't know. I was just curious.
Yeah, you were so excited.
I was super curious.
How are we supposed to introduce you?
Whatever you want. I don't know.
Okay, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Bridges. We have a special guest today. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I heard all of your friends call you Dreg.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that real? Dreg?
It's one of those ambiguous names. You can say whatever you like. J-Reg, Draj, Garage,
Greg.
whatever makes you happy. Greg, you could say Greg. Yeah, it's a little ambiguous. It's part of the shtick, I think.
Greg is obviously incorrect,
Greg is fine. I'm okay with Greg.
but it's incorrect, right?
It's not my real name, but it's fine.
It's crazy that I was trying to clarify how to say his name, and then you just jumped into the intro and didn't know how to say his name.
That's a good intro, though. You know.
That's part of
The mystique.
the mystique of this masked man in front of us.
Yeah. This is all very intentional.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
all part of the meta irony.
Yeah.
The best part is that we don't really know. You know.
It's true.
What
It's true.
happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Should I start by explaining this?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
people are
it's
going to want to know
the-
because we have a literal show where a guy is like covered in bandages, okay? Bane is sitting across from us. People are going to want to know why you wear the
so much
mask.
funnier though if we didn't address it and then I didn't have to talk about how. Okay, I went e-scootering in Miami.
This is your camera, by the way.
I just like looking here.
No,
though.
no, we'll just look at us. We're supposed
I-
to talk to each other.
I have autism.
Okay, true.
I have autism and
I
schizophrenia.
don't know why I had to say that twice to each of us.
The autism prevents me from looking in your eye, and the schizophrenia prevents me from looking in one spot too long.
I don't know. You're looking at one spot pretty. He's gonna turn it off.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Okay. I went e-scootering. I'm just gonna look at the black screen.
That's
Fuck
good.
you.
That's fine.
I went e-scootering in Miami, and I fell, and I got banged up, and I didn't go to the hospital because I'm in America, and I don't want to spend $5 billion or whatever. Again, I don't know how America works. I'm just being told this by people that I know, and I'm taking it back tomorrow, so they're gonna fix me up here. Brogan, my handler, he touched me up, and yeah, now I'm here.
All
Well, that
right.
was a fascinating story. Cool.
It was yeah.
What, have you ever been e-scootering before?
I have, and I knew before I got on. I'm a very neurotic person. I see negative outcomes before they happen, and but then I don't act on it because I'm like, oh, I'm just being neurotic. But like, no, I knew that would end in disaster.
Was it like balance L, or what's the ish?
Balance L?
Yeah, like do you have bad balance or?
Oh yeah, no, I have no dexterity. I put all my points into wisdom.
Wisdom, yeah.
Yeah.
High
Okay.
perception.
Was there like a pothole or
I don't even know what happened. I was
it was just a random? Okay.
I was just
fell.
going.
Well, cool. Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah. It's fine. You should see the other guy, which is to say, the other girl that is, I think, broke her ankle. Yeah.
What did you? What do you do for content? Is any of it real? That's really the only reason I brought you here.
Is any of it real?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Are you a real person?
Am I a
This
real
is why
guy?
I killed the fuse box, by the way, on the fridge. You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you kill it this time?
I did because I want to hear the sounds of the refrigerator for J-Reg. Yeah. Is any of the stuff that you do like actually
Real.
real?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I have like I have a real life. You met my people. You met my handler. He's part of that life that I live. It's like you think I'm just like
You do a lot of ironic content online. Some would say. And by some, I mean me.
Yeah, I do a lot of ironic content online. I have no idea. I don't know.
You
You
haven't-
well. I have a rival in Toronto. It's like standard satire stuff. Like I did a
Online.
sure.
Is your goal to just kind of like satirize whatever you think is goofy at the time? Is there like an actual political belief that you feel is important to, communicate to people?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. There's like an underlying well. So
Wait,
like
yeah, to which?
yeah.
I mean
that was it. That was the answer. Yes.
there's this like I don't know if I'm like it's hard to set out to do satire, I guess, like in the modern world on the internet, because your content's getting fed to all these different disparate groups. And so if you like the way I got started is I was doing just like standard satire stuff. Like I did a video about like explaining misanthropy. That was my first satire video, I think. And I was like, you f***ing idiots wouldn't know what misanthropy is. You
Okay. Yeah, this is not true. Guarantees an upgrade. That's not true either. Unless I'm retarded. No, no, it's not true. Okay, so levels tier 70 is all I'm going to get. Like, sorry, 70% chance is all I'm going to get apparently. So there's no point in upgrading to tier pit tier. And I was just doing that. I'm just doing just that. So awesome.
Dumb suckers, like I just hate everybody. And then the comments were all like, why are you being so mean to your audience? This is really not cool. And I was like, you guys don't get the joke. And eventually, at some point, I started incorporating the people that didn't get the joke into the joke so that they could get the joke. And so that I could say, like, okay, that's also a fair interpretation. And so, I just kept building off of that. And so the political stuff's just a sort of it's sort of an outgrowth of that. But like while you do that, you also do push something. Like you can't just satirize and deconstruct. Like you're subconsciously pushing something. So the thing that I'm pushing is radicalism.
What kind of radicalism?
Just general radicalism.
In general?
Yeah.
You just want people to be extreme.
I think it's more interesting. That's why JJ's my mentor. It's because we're like dialectically opposed. Yeah.
Aren't mentors people usually that are like not completely opposed?
No, there's all these different traits of JJ that I seek to emulate, like knowing a lot about the world and stuff. But then the core philosophical disagreements. I mean, I can be friends with people who are very different from me. But like we're so opposite that it's like, I mean, I'm sure you have these kinds of relationships. Like you're disagreeable, right? Like you have people that you can work off of with that disagreeability. Like I have a rival in Toronto as well, and like we kind of get off on working against each other a little bit.
Is your rival also just like a staunch moderate, or?
They've taken to JJ more than me. I think they're trying to cuck my mentor.
Are we allowed to say are you allowed to say who the moderate is?
Who the
Or your
enemy-
rival is?
CJ the X. Yeah, I can. That's a public rivalry.
Okay.
They're a really cool, YouTuber person. I don't know how to say it. They do like long form video essay stuff, and they're pretty similar to me, but we have like key differences, so that helps with. I think a good rival is like someone who. I made a video recently about like relationships we should have but don't, and this is part of the broader theme that I've been exploring over the last few years, where I'm like, why don't we have as many social relationships as we should? And like, mentorship's been so important to me, and I look around at my friends and like they often don't have mentors, and a lot of people don't have mentors. Mentorship's like one of those relationships, but like rivals, that's like a good relationship. It's a little negative, a little like combative, but like there's still a fundamental respect underneath all of it. And it's like I like really respect my rival, and like when I get a big win, I like flaunt it a little bit. And then they're like, and then they want to like beat me, one up me. But like you always want to be a little ahead. You never want to destroy them and crush them like a worm. That's like an enemy. It's
very anime-esque, right?
True.
Yeah.
Like, does Ash exist if Gary isn't there to like drive him forward, or would Vegeta be the fighter he is
Exactly.
without Goku there training in the background?
Exactly.
So it's like shonen. You're just a shonen character.
I'm a shonen character down to the injuries.
Having people there to challenge you, to drive you forward is a very like Dale Carnegie type thing. It's good to have having competition that doesn't absolutely and totally obliterate you, but motivates you to be better is always good. Yeah.
Yes, and as an agreeable fella, as someone who like wants to like people and get along with everybody, it's kind of a challenging relationship for me to have, but it's also really good for me because it helps me be like, more assertive, more disagreeable, like kind of incorporate my shadow a bit, I guess.
With your rival, is there like an actual
Incorporate
like,
my
social
shadow,
tension
bros.
level, like a
Bros
dislike for one
Youngin.
another, or
Bros-
you never?
Yeah, a little bit.
Bros
Like,
utilizing
there's like a little bit of like, ugh,
Fucking psychology.
like I almost want to complain about them, but I know it's coming from a position of like we are just fundamentally different, like value-wise. And I sometimes worry about like, what if a rivalry becomes like an enemy ship or whatever? Like that's not something you want. So
What do you mean by that?
Like what if something that like the enemy to rival to enemy pipeline, like someone who starts off being someone that's like generative becomes something that's like we're trying to destroy each other now. You got to be careful about that, I think.
Gotcha.
Not that that's even come close to happening yet, but
Okay. Do you
I
guys
think-
talk? Like, do you guys?
yeah, we
DM
talk.
and
We're
stuff?
like it's like we'll hang out and it's like a friendship, but then at the same time it's like, we're trying to beat each other a little bit.
Okay. Interesting.
We're both making like albums and music and songs and stuff, and we're both like hardcore aesthetic artists, and we're both like similar subscriber number, yada yada.
What led you to getting into a mentorship with JJ?
I was hanging out in Ottawa, and I left a comment on one of JJ's videos where he was on the news with a mustache, and I was like, "You with a mustache looks like you are pretending to be you with a mustache." And he emailed me and he was like, "Oh, hey, I checked out your channel. Very weird, you know, like very strange stuff." And then he's like, "You're Canadian, I hear. Like, where are you in Canada?" And I'm like, "I'm in Ottawa." And then he happened to be in Ottawa for a wedding. And then so we hung out all day. And at the end, I was like, "You're old, and I want a mentor. I've been looking for a mentor my entire life." And we had a great conversation, even though we were like disagreeing on everything. Be my mentor. And so he was like, "Yeah, okay." And then, you know, a year went by, and we didn't talk that much. But I had some family issues I needed some guidance for, and I ended up calling him a lot. And then at some point, we just started talking every day. And he's been so good for me, so helpful for me. It's just like just like a life-changing experience. And he's actually the reason I'm in Toronto, because he encouraged me to go there, and he knew I hated my hometown and I wanted to go somewhere else and build a community, and he knew I was really like interested in community and community building. So that's what I did, and I wouldn't have gone to Toronto if he didn't tell me to go, and it's been the best decision I ever made. Now I have like a YouTuber studio, I've got a good community around me. I don't feel like fundamentally lonely in the same way I used to. So yeah, it's been good.
When you say like mentorship, what does that look like specifically? Like, does he give you both business and personal advice?
Yeah. So I mean, some mentorships are just purely business. It's like I do this specific niche field thing, and you can like guide me in that one area. And I'm a proponent of being polymentorous, you know, if you want to be. JJ is someone who is like similar enough to me in like a lot of ways. I almost feel like we kind of like made the same observations philosophically and then came to like opposite conclusions. So like perceptively we're like in the same boat. But like he is someone that can talk me through my personal problems. So that's just lucky. Like that's like so because he's the kind of person that I would like to age into, you know, and in many ways, not in like every way, obviously. Like no one, you don't want to just like, but like it's someone who can fast track you towards getting those personality traits. So like, you know, like knowledge and like cultural literacy, and just like productivity. Like he's been publishing a video once a week, every week for 8 years without skipping a beat.
I think a lot of people have an issue sometimes when it comes to talking to, whether it's like a therapist or a friend or whatever. People feel like somebody doesn't get them or wouldn't be able to solve every problem for them. But I think there's an equal amount of utility in having somebody who is just good to talk to, because you can talk through your own thought process and they can ask the correct questions to kind of like move you in a certain area or move you in a certain direction to help you figure something out. So that's pretty cool that you stumbled into that or found that. Or did you ever have like a concept of having a mentor before, or were you talking to
I always knew I wanted it because I felt like I was walking a very lonely path with what I wanted to do. In my hometown, I didn't know anyone who was successful at like any kind of passionate job whatsoever, even a little bit.
Do you ever say where you're from?
I'm from Ottawa.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the capital of Canada, small government town. Nothing.
No
really.
one's passionate. Is that because it's just infused by politicians?
Everyone gets a stupid government job, and then they do nothing. They literally do like 1 hour of work a day, and then all my friends, that's what they do. No one, like all my siblings, I watched every single one of my siblings get that job, and not like their lives at all, really, like not like their job. So there's like it's like meh, and you get a good amount of money, and you get all these benefits.
Kind of same here too.
And so it's like golden handcuffs, you know, that's what they call them.
Golden handcuffs.
And I just knew I was artistically inclined, and I would hate it. And
it's a good one, yeah.
I remember getting some internships in the government, and I just like cried when I got home. I was like, can't do this.
Did you go to college? Did you call it college?
I went to university. Yeah.
Okay.
I studied politicsism and mental healthism. No, I'm just kidding. I studied journalism.
Okay. Did you graduate?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then right after I graduated, I was about to get a job, one of those jobs, and then I got made $60 on YouTube in one day, and I was like, I could just keep doing this, and then I kept doing that.
Did you start the studio that you have in Toronto?
Yeah.
Like you were the founder?
Yes.
Did you go like in a partnership, or did you fully found it, or like how did that come to be?
It's technically fully under my company. But
I see what you're doing. Very nice. Very nice.
what do you mean? I see what you're doing?
Very nice. Very sneaky. Okay.
I like to think. I say that I sort of found it with Brogan, our Chad, who you met, because he was the first person I met that was sort of like a peer of mine, oriented towards the same sort of community building function, and someone who would like work with me in the long term. And I had been trying to find people like that for my entire life, and every time it failed miserably. And I was so beaten up and like, okay, there's no point in even trying anymore. I have to do this all myself.
Like failed interpersonally, or what caused the failing?
Just like in Ottawa, like they just had a better, more secure option of just getting a
Golden handcuffs. Okay.
government job.
Yeah.
Where they did no work. So yeah, I don't know. I met him. He was just built different, and then that was like the inspiration I sort of needed to be like, okay, now I have at least one person. And then Gokanaru, he was like the third person who like joined and was like, okay, I'm super down. I'll put money into this, yada yada. And now we all put money into the studio, and we have a big space, and the space is expanding. And yeah, so I'm content with that.
Is it you three right now?
It's 8 of us actually. 10 of us. 10. We have 10 people now. 10 full-time YouTubers paying into it and using the space, and we all get a corner, and we all hang out all the time, and we all have good relationships with each other. And there's been like no drama in like the last year, which I don't know if that'll last forever. But
Oh, you guys are like living the wait. Is it no girls?
we have girls.
Do you have girls of the 10? Is any one of them a girl?
No.
Oh.
Haha, there it is. No drama.
Do I have to? Okay.
No, I'm just kidding, man.
Okay.
There, I have no idea how much you know about my background, but I have a background in esports. That's technically where I
Yeah.
came from. And I guess it's true in the streamer world too. Like the streamer houses and the gaming houses are always the dream. Like, oh my God, like we can be next to other people that are also playing 16 hours a day, StarCraft 2, League of Legends is awesome. And then in concept, they're always so cool. And then it'll either be, this isn't women's fault, but it'll either be girl drama or it'll be some other type of interpersonal drama that for some reason it is like the fastest growing, most malignant cancer in the world, where things seem like so cool like 1 month ago. And then you talk to me like, yeah, I f***ing hate it here. Like this
Yeah.
guy's a piece of shit. And like
Yeah.
everything falls apart so fast. And I'm like,
Yeah, we're very aware of that. I think kind of subconsciously, just from growing up on the internet and seeing that happen so many times. Though I think we've like all subconsciously learned that like there's so many ways it can go wrong and sour really quickly. That we have all these barriers in place, like no incest rule, like we can't.
are any of you even related?
Well, and any of the
Boring.
girls,
Oh.
coming by, it's like
Oh, never mind. You meant metaphorical incest.
So like
Metaphorical.
none of you are like competing for the same individual.
no.
Gotcha. How do you guys do? Is it like dibs?
It's like a
You
like
would
a
know
dib
about this, but it's called the bro code.
yeah.
I got it.
The
Don't
bro
worry.
code.
Yes, the bro.
But we have girls that come by. Like one of the girls that's by all the time. She's an anarcho-capitalist, Dark Enlightenment Curtis Yarvin fan. And then
What the fuck?
one of the people is like a
Oh, what? Bro. Okay.
communist. So we're all over the place. We try to be ideologically as it's like I'm trying to do some horseshoe theory live by bringing people together.
And then, so this is just a giant. What is the studio? Is it an apartment? Is it a warehouse? Is it a what do you?
It's an office building.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't. None of us live together. No one lives in the studio. We all have our own separate places. If I'm getting overwhelmed by people, I just go home.
That probably really helps compared to like the streamer houses
Yep.
where you can't escape. I
Yep.
feel like that's probably a really key difference
I
for
would never
managing
live
the
with.
drama.
I would never live with them. And it's like not because I don't like them. It's because I like them that I'm not going to live with them. You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you collaborate a lot on content, or are you usually all kind of doing your own thing? Or is
Yeah,
it-
we all collab. And we're all writing like a book together, and we'll be on each other's videos all the times. Even if it's something small, like I'll read a quote on Sam's channel or whatever. So yeah, we all collab as much as possible, and the collabs just happen kind of naturally. We don't really have to force them. It's just like we hang around each other, and then someone has an idea, and like, oh, we have to do that. So it's like I think that's kind of been always the dream of like how freeform creativity and like stuff happens.
It sounds like the dream, unironically, having a group of people together that are all working on a similar thing, and you guys, have a good arrangement. You said you've been together for, as this group of 10, for about a year, or as somebody?
Yeah, about a year. So a year ago, I moved to Toronto, and it was just me and Brogan, and we were working out of his apartment. So he had a basement apartment, and he just had like one little room that he likes. Okay, this is my space, but the rest of it, this is public space now. So we invite our friends over. We met a lot of people really quickly, and then we got like Okinaru. We got Duncan Clark, who's like he makes like iceberg tier list videos and stuff, sociology stuff. And then we got like Sam, We're in Hell, and then we got Ben from Canada, who's like a movie critic. And then we kept expanding, and then we have like 10 people. They're all full time, and I guess we only got to 10 like a couple of months ago. So we're still kind of expanding. If anyone in Toronto is a YouTuber and wants to come by, you can come by.
Why, I hear so many Canadians that get really mad, and I notice that both you guys call it Toronto.
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 Everybody I've met from Toronto says you're supposed to say Toronto.
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 You guys don't give a you guys are just...
I don't care.
Okay.
Who cares?
Do you guys, are you still looking for more people to join your studio, or have you ever like capped it? Or?
I might be. I'm probably a little too open. Speaking of women drama, I mean, like, we had a group of women by one time, disaster, cat fights, 3 girls.
Like they were fighting each other, or
Yeah,
they
were
guys to fight each
infighting,
other?
causing problems. The 10 guys, everything's pretty solid. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm just observing here.
Is there any like, hierarchy? Because you have various sized channels that are all like working together. So Gokinaru is like quite large, you're quite large, and I know you have like some smaller channels. Is there
Yeah.
any sense of like hierarchy or anything like that, or is it all? It just doesn't really matter.
We're all making full-time money from our channels, and I think that basically, whether it's whether it's one number or another number, it's the same. There's so much in common from just doing that you don't have to do much. You don't have to like put a hierarchy in place. If there is a hierarchy, it
Sounds
emerges
cool, I
naturally,
guess,
which
yeah.
is to say
You don't
like
have to live with
someone's
them.
like
This is
just
something
getting
Between
started.
men.
to go to.
Between men.
Well,
like a
that's a
hub-
hierarchy I'm interested
like a
in.
hub
I assumed
place
you
for
probably didn't
fucking-
establish a hierarchy. That would be really weird.
It's like one of the
Post-irony
our newest
YouTubers.
member is actually fairly new, and
They're not
so
all
they're
necessarily
working
focused on
really hard, and
post-irony.
they're in the studio every day, and they're asking people for
But, like,
advice and stuff.
some of these fuckers
But
are,
no
like,
one's looking down on
post-irony,
him for
like,
being new. Well, I mean,
should
when I
I
met
go over
Brogan,
here?
he had 60 subscribers. I always treated him like a peer immediately because I knew that he would make it. And like I saw, it was like, he's gonna make this. He's gonna make it. He's got it. Like I just can tell immediately. So I never looked down on him. I was just like, you're my
Or we did
peer.
post,
You're not even my
post,
mentee. You're my peer.
He's also a super cool dude. Me and Rowan had to film some stuff yesterday, and he like worked with us for like 3 hours, and he was super chill the entire time.
Yeah.
He's when he was working to help us do this thing, he's very much like disappeared into the background and did everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It sounds insulting, but it's a compliment if you know. Like I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah.
Like he worked with us so well or whatever.
seamlessly.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
he's
cool.
my handler. That's why I brought him along. I paid for his flight just to handle me. He didn't handle me well enough to tell me not to go on the scooter.
But he
though,
did stitch you up,
Yeah, he stitched me up. So, yeah,
doing a pretty good job.
yeah.
There is a lot of when you talk about the hierarchy stuff. I don't know how much you've gotten into the YouTuber world.
I only through Gokinaru. That's why I like having him around, like a drama
Sure.
streamer. Because I'm like some shit happens. I'm like, I don't want to watch the 3-hour long Turkey Tom video about this. Like Gokinaru, explain this to me in 15 minutes, please.
Okay, because there are definitely areas where you're in where everybody's like, "That's the big YouTuber," and you can tell by the energy in the room that everybody's like, "Oh God," So people get kind of cringe about it. People can be cringe when they're small because they get jealous or envious. People can be cringe when they're large because they lord it over people or they
Yeah.
act like it. And
I mean, I was at VidCon this year, and like all different sizes of people kind of together, but everyone, if you know to associate with the right people, everything's kind of cool. And the other thing is like you can be small, but like you can have a lot of swag. Like I was in the commentary YouTuber party, which I brought Taylor Lorenz to, which was really funny because everyone freaked out immediately. So like JonTron was there, and he's huge, but like he was like, "Oh, J-Reg, like I like you," and then like
wait, how long ago was this?
This was June, July.
Oh, okay,
Whenever
okay.
VidCon was this
Just
year.
ask him to email me back.
JonTron, email her back. I'll do.
Oh man.
but like also Gokinaru is not that big. He's got like a couple 100,000 subscribers in the commentary sphere. But like because he actually makes high art, he's got swag. He's got the swag, and can end a man's career just by working on a video about him for a year. So, yeah.
Referring to the Sneeko video, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, headshot, and then like next target, he's like lining it up.
Do you know who it is?
I do.
Oh,
But it's a
shit.
secret, right?
Yeah, can't tell you.
How often does he release videos?
He not frequently.
Yeah.
Not
'cause
enough.
He works so hard.
Yeah,
on
that's
them.
his problem. He's the Sneeko video. I like to get involved with the process of my friends, and so I'll give them deadlines and stuff. Like I'll be like, okay, you're gonna do a premiere at the studio in like 3 months. So just have a draft ready to show your friends, and then that forces them to get something out. I think he might have only gotten the Sneeko video up because I forced him to like create premieres for us to see. But like, yeah, he's always working and crafting and like
Is he like a perfectionist?
he's a perfectionist. I view him like a sniper. Like he just like will like spend a year like setting up the perfect shot and then like.
One of the problems I noticed when I started hiring people for development work is there's always kind of the memes about how much people hated managers as developers. And I noticed after hiring workers, coders, programmers, whatever, that it's like, I very quickly understood why management existed. Because a lot of people that have the talent to create stuff can't self-direct and they can't manage their time.
Take over, Elon. Just take over.
And now Elon has temporarily moved to Pennsylvania and declared in a very sincere way that he's a fan of both the Steelers and the Eagles, making him exactly one of one. But Musk's America PAC is running Trump's Get Out the Vote campaign. And one of the key initiatives is incentivizing people to sign a petition pledging their, quote, support for the First and Second Amendments by offering cash rewards exclusively to residents of swing states. The petition states, quote, the First and Second Amendments guarantee freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. By signing below, I am pledging my support for the First and Second Amendments. Now, usually a petition is meant to demonstrate public support for some proposition, like the right to bear arms, but this petition seems to have very little value in demonstrating anything. And as a group of Republican attorneys and public officials have observed, quote, critically, America PAC has not made the names or numbers of petition signers public, so the petition provides no demonstration of public support for even that statement. But the rewards include $47 for each registered voter in a swing state that a petitioner recruits to sign, or $100 if the voter is from Pennsylvania. And in his tweet announcing the offer, Musk proclaimed it was easy money. And a few days later, he upped the ante. Musk awarded a random Pennsylvania petition signer a $1 million prize on October 19th, 20th, and 21st. And he says he's going to be giving random $1 million prizes to other people who are registered to vote in any of the 7 swing states from now through Election Day, November 5th. Now, the cash offers in Pennsylvania are only available for petition signatures submitted by October 21st because that's the voter registration deadline in the Commonwealth. And since only registered voters can claim the prizes, the offer basically incentivizes people to register by offering $100 and maybe even more just for registering to vote and filling out an online petition. This creates a financial motive for people to register before the deadline. And the obvious question here is whether this scheme violates any election laws. Is Elon doing anything illegal? And the answer is yeah, it's probably illegal vote buying. Now, America has a long history of giving people freebies in exchange for votes. In our video on things that used to be illegal, we talked about how the Founding Fathers used to give voters free drinks. In fact, 24-year-old George Washington failed to win a seat in the Virginia House of Burgesses after he decided against treating voters to booze. 3 years later, Washington ran again, and this time he showed up with 144 gallons of alcoholic drinks.
Let's do this.
And it was a success. He paid a half gallon of liquor or wine for every vote that he won. Now, eventually Americans decided it was wrong to buy votes, especially with alcohol. I mean, sure, money is speech, but it's not that speech. And it should be obvious, but the practice undermines the integrity of elections by coercing or incentivizing voters to cast their ballots for specific candidates or party rather than voting based on their real preferences. And vote buying is the practice of offering money, goods, or services to people in exchange for their vote in an election. And in the United States, several federal laws address giving something of value in exchange for voting or registering to vote. 18 U.S.C. 597 makes it a federal crime to pay, offer, or promise any money or benefit in exchange for voting or withholding a vote for a specific candidate in a federal election. And there's also 52 U.S.C. 10307, which states, quote, whoever knowingly or willfully gives false information as to his name, address, or period of residence in the voting district for the purpose of establishing his eligibility to register or vote, or conspires with another individual for the purpose of encouraging his false registration to vote or illegal voting, or pays or offers to pay or accepts payment either for registration to vote or for voting, shall be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. So, as you can see, this section of the Voting Rights Act makes it illegal for any person to pay or offer to pay anyone for voting or registering to vote. And according to the Department of Justice, this kind of scheme doesn't need to be successful to be illegal. Quote, Section 10307C applies as long as a pattern of vote buying exposes a federal election to potential corruption, even though it cannot be shown that the threat materialized. This means we don't have to wait for the election to figure out if Musk's actions swayed voters before deeming it illegal. And the DOJ says that, quote, the statute rests on the premise that potential voters can choose not to vote, that those who choose to vote have a right not to have the voting process diluted with ballots that have been procured through bribery, and that the selection of the nation's leaders should not degenerate into a spending contest, with the victor being the candidate who can pay the most voters. But most vote buying is not as simple as giving cash for votes, although that has happened before. For example, in 1996, the candidate running for sheriff and commissioner of Dodge County, Georgia, engaged in so much open vote buying that the magistrate called the atmosphere, quote, a successful flea market. The open bidding for votes was like an auction where both sides, quote, paid the voter $20 to $40 after the voter cast his or her absentee ballot. Sometimes the cash payment occurred in the courthouse bathroom. But Musk's scheme is slightly less crass. Now, the courts interpret 10307C to include almost anything of value. For example, in U.S. versus Garcia, the Duval County welfare director was accused of a vote buying scheme. She was responsible for issuing vouchers for food, clothing, prescriptions, and medical services to indigent persons in need of welfare assistance. and the government charged Garcia and 3 other people with giving welfare food vouchers to people in return for their promises to vote absentee for a certain local candidate in the Democratic primary election. And the 11th Circuit upheld their convictions and found that the term payment was broad enough to include any other item of value such as welfare benefits. Now, whether the item is something of value depends on, quote, the perspective of the voter receiving the item and not the person offering it. And not everything of value violates the law. Quote, free rides to the polls or providing employees paid leave while they vote are not prohibited. But what's the difference between a payment or welfare voucher and a ride? Well, the ride makes it easier to get to the polls, but it doesn't influence the individuals who have already decided to vote to actually cast their ballots. And this statute doesn't require proof that a voter was paid to support a specific candidate. Offering something of value to get someone to vote or register to vote falls under its scope. For example, in 2008, Ben & Jerry's initially offered free ice cream on election day to anyone wearing an I voted sticker, but later adjusted the promotion to allow any sticker due to concerns about Section 10307C. As the company now acknowledges, quote, it turns out that giving away freebies as incentives for voting is not super legal, so we had to modify the offer. Free scoops for anyone who had a sticker on, voting related or otherwise. Bunch of freaking killjoys. Now, obviously, if you're legally buying votes, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a data breach, especially if you've got one of those data breach letters saying the information might have been leaked, or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. Because it's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you can get the best representation and find out what your options are. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team, so click below. But the DOJ manual specifically references lottery chances as something of value. We checked and it doesn't seem like there's case law specifically on point about lotteries as vote bribing schemes, but the DOJ's interpretation carries significant weight. Now, to figure out whether any of Musk's activities are illegal, we have to look at each offer. And Elon's first gambit was offering voters in Pennsylvania the opportunity to see him give a speech as long as they signed the petition and already voted in the election. Now, this seems like a pretty clear offer of payment, which again means anything of value for voting. And it seems like this would violate Section 597 in the same way that the Ben & Jerry's offer did. But the first monetary offer was to pay registered voters $47 if they got another person to sign a petition. Now, the statute doesn't bar someone from paying others to do campaign work. And in another case that involved the Garcia welfare vote buying scheme, some of the defendants argued that they were paid cash to do campaign work, like handing out posters. But the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld several convictions, saying the jury had enough evidence that people were actually given $30 to vote, not to do other activities for the candidates. And Elon's PAC is hiring people. If you click on the Ad America PAC Twitter page, you can apply for canvassing jobs in swing states, and that's perfectly legal. However, the statute specifically prohibits payments, quote, for registration to vote. And the Justice Department says that Section 10307C does not apply to payments made to signature gatherers for voter registration such individuals may obtain. However, such payments become actionable under Section 10307C if they are shared with the person being registered. Now, to appear on a ballot, candidates often need to collect a certain number of signatures from registered voters. And when someone approaches you at Target and asks you to add your signature, that's totally legal, even if that person is being paid to do the work. But it becomes illegal if they pay you for signing your name. And while Musk could argue that the $47 payments are for campaign work, that interpretation is pretty weak because of the voter registration requirement. Restricting the payments to registered swing state voters suggests the intent was to pay people to register, and it really had nothing at all to do with the petition. Although those who signed the petition certainly gave Musk valuable data for a big mailing list. And later he raised the amount to $100 specifically for Pennsylvania voters. That runs into the same problem as the $47. The petition supporting the First and Second Amendments is meaningless. But it's pretty obvious why they did this. Someone who supports the Second Amendment so much they're willing to sign a petition of support for it is probably going to vote for Donald Trump. So they're clearly counting on the selection bias here. And the money is being provided specifically for registered voters who reach out to other registered voters. And election law expert and UCLA law professor Rick Hasson, who's usually a very sober voice on election law, says, quote, though some of the other things Musk was doing were of murky legality, this one is clearly illegal. But wait, there's more. You might recall that Elon also offered a lottery. Quote, all you need to do is sign the @American petition in support of constitutional rights to free speech and bear arms to have a daily chance of winning $1 million. You can be from any or no political party, and you don't even have to vote. Now, we recently talked about the legality of some of Mr. Beast's old lotteries. Lotteries are distinct from sweepstakes, which are legal. Sweepstakes are games where a person is chosen randomly to win a prize, and sweepstakes participants do not need to give consideration to enter. And a raffle is, quote, an activity in which people buy tickets with different numbers, some of which are later chosen to win prizes, that's organized in order to make money for a good social purpose. And in fact, Kamala Harris is actually holding a sweepstakes right now. Quote, we're inviting one lucky supporter and a friend to our Get Out the Vote concert. And although you can donate to enter the sweepstakes, you don't have to pay anything at all. If you click on the link and enter your email, you can enter without contributing. But Elon's offer, on the other hand, is clearly an illegal lottery. A lottery becomes illegal if it involves 3 key elements. 1, consideration, 2, chance, and 3, a prize. Now, consideration refers to a payment or something of value given to enter the lottery. Chance means the outcome is based on luck rather than skill, and a prize is a reward given to the winner. And if all 3 elements are present, the lottery is generally illegal unless it's specifically authorized by state law, such as a state-run lottery. And the DOJ says that a lottery should be considered a thing of monetary value that constitutes vote buying in violation of Section 10307C. And it looks like it also violates state law as well. Musk's $1 million lottery also violates 18 Pennsylvania Crimes and Offenses Code, Section 5512, which defines and prohibits illegal lotteries in Pennsylvania. In fact, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro called the scheme concerning and said law enforcement should look at it.
So you think it might not be legal, yes or no?
I think it's something that law enforcement can take a look at. I'm not the Attorney General anymore of Pennsylvania, I'm the governor, but it does raise some serious questions.
And that's probably because in Pennsylvania, vote buying is also prohibited by state law under 25 Pennsylvania Statute Section 3539, which specifically addresses bribery in elections. And it says, quote, any person who shall directly or indirectly give or promise to offer to give any gift or reward in money, goods, or other valuable thing to any person with intent to induce him to vote or refrain from voting for any particular candidate or candidates, or who shall directly or indirectly procure for or offer or promise to procure for such person any such gift or reward with the intent aforesaid, shall be sentenced to pay a fine not exceeding $15,000 or to undergo an imprisonment of not more than 7 years or both in the discretion of the court. Now that law has a pretty broad definition of what something of value is. A gift or offer to give money, goods, or other valuable things. It also prohibits voters from accepting such offers. That means a person who accepts payments from Musk could be prosecuted for violating the state and federal laws. And that's exactly what happened in the companion case to Garcia. The people who accepted $30 cash payments and the welfare vouchers were actually prosecuted for participating in the scheme. So if you're one of Elon's $1 million winners, beware. Now, Musk can argue that a lot of the petition signers were already registered. He stated that the lottery is just about the petition. Quote, you don't have to vote, just sign a petition saying you support the Constitution. Now, that's probably his best defense, saying it was more about harvesting email and contact information for these people than it was about actually getting people to vote. But the lottery isn't restricted to people who are already registered. You can sign the petition, but you're not entered to win $1 million unless you register by the deadline in swing states. And the goal is to get more people registered. And in some ways, this is uncharted water. There isn't a case directly on point that deals with this sort of indirect but clearly intended to be directly related to registration or voting kind of case. And it could be a strong counterargument that neither Musk's payments or the lottery are payments to directly register to vote. If we treat Musk's words credulously, then all he's doing is giving people a little cash to sign a petition supporting the Constitution and probably building a donor list. And that's definitely legal. But if Musk took the information about the voters who signed the petition, then offered them something of value to vote for Trump, that would probably be illegal, but he would obviously argue that's not what happened here. So for a court to conclude that Musk violated these state or federal statutes, the court would have to say that the monetary incentive is not about the petition, that the petition was just a ruse for the real plan, which was to give people cash payments and a shot at $1 million to induce people to register to vote. And that indirectness definitely makes it a less clear case of campaign fraud and possibly an edge case. But as we've discussed, there's evidence against this interpretation as well. The government could say that Musk only created the payments for voters who registered, and the program was announced right before the registration deadlines, so we can infer that he was paying people to register. But on the other side, Musk would simply say it's too indirect to violate the law. He didn't pay them to register to vote. He paid people to sign a petition, and the only ones he paid happened to be registered voters. So there's no way the payment could induce registration, let alone voting. And then making things even more surreal, Cards Against Humanity, which is suing Musk over Tesla destroying its land, made a similar offer in response to Musk. The company's offering $100 to people who did not vote in 2020, but will vote in 2024. They announced this on Twitter of all places. They said, quote, "Stop masturbating and listen up, America. If you didn't vote in 2020, Cards Against Humanity will pay you to apologize, making a voting plan, and publicly post hashtag Donald Trump is a human toilet, up to $100 if you live in a swing state and lean blue." And they're asking people in swing states to check their voter registration and make a plan to vote. And that seems to be similar, if more parodical version of what Musk is doing. And they can also make the same arguments. They aren't paying someone to vote or to register. They're just asking people to make plans to vote. They say, quote, "It's a crazy legal loophole that we can just start a super PAC, buy the personal voting records of every American on the internet, and then pay blue-leaning non-voters to apologize and make a voting plan. This whole thing should probably be illegal." Well, Cards Against Humanity, maybe it is. So if convicted, Musk faces up to 5 years in prison for the federal offense alone. But as Spencer the Scowlow has explained, the amount of time a person gets for violating federal law depends on federal sentencing guidelines. And under those guidelines, paying people to register or vote carries a base offense level of 12. And soliciting or accepting payment has a base level offense of 6, but offering or making payments, as Musk did, increases the base offense level to 12. And Musk could also face a 4-level increase because he was an organizer or leader of a criminal activity involving 5 or more participants. So if he was convicted at trial, he'd likely face sentencing based on an offense level of 16 or 14 if he pled guilty. So maybe a sentence of 2 years. But the question is whether the DOJ or the state prosecutors in Pennsylvania will act on this. The Department of Justice is unlikely to do anything about this until after the election. The DOJ has a policy which discourages federal prosecutors from taking overt investigative or prosecutorial actions related to candidates or elections within 60 days of a general election. The goal of that policy is to avoid influencing or appearing to influence the outcome of an election. But this policy is not a formal rule or law, but rather a practice based on DOJ traditions and internal memoranda, such as the 2012 memo issued by then Attorney General Eric Holder. The 60-day window is meant to prevent any political impact on public opinion, where news of an investigation could unfairly sway voters. But this policy isn't absolute. The DOJ retains discretion to take action if a situation is deemed critical or urgent enough to warrant it, regardless of the timing. And a group of Republicans who served in government wrote a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland urging him to act. They write that, quote, "We are aware of nothing like this in modern political history. Law enforcement agencies are appropriately reluctant to take actions shortly before elections that could affect how people vote. But serious questions arising under laws that directly regulate the voting process must be an exception. Otherwise, individuals may act with impunity, with consequences, if any, coming only long after the damage is already done." Now, if Musk does end up going to jail, he'll probably want a really good meal, especially if it help him slim down because he's been looking a little portly lately. And he'd probably love today's sponsor.
peacefully taking its time. People who change for no reason at all, happening all of the time. Can I go on with this train of events, disturbing and purging my mind? Back out of my duties when all's said and done, I know that I'll lose every time. Moving along in our God-given ways, safety is sought by the fire. Sanctuary from these feverish smiles, left with a mark on the door. Is this the gift that I wanted to give? Forgive and forget what they teach. Or pass through the deserts and wastelands once more, and watch as they drown by the beach.
Yeah, Guzman. Guzmando.